order. It is Wednesday, April 12th at 7 o'clock. This meeting is being recorded. We have two members remote, Heather McHugh, Nick Rowe. Present Sue Robbins, Skip Currier, Victoria Duckworth, Angelina Correa, Mark Haddad, Greg Marr, and Dan. Dan, I just drew a complete blank.
Kusher.
Wow, I'm old. I'm sorry, Dan. I know who you are, I just don't know who I am. So tonight, this is a public hearing for the warrant for the May 8th Springtown meeting. I'm going to read the public legal notice into the record. In accordance with Article 2, Section 2-3 of the Grafton Town Charter and Article 3 of the Town Bylaws, the Finance Committee will hold public hearings to discuss all articles on the warrant prepared for the Springtown meeting to be held on Monday, May 8th, 2023 at 7 p.m. I believe that's at the high school auditorium. The Finance Committee's public hearing will begin at 7 p.m. in the Grafton Memorial Municipal Center located at 30 Providence Road on the following dates: Wednesday, April 12th in Conference Room A, and Thursday, April 13th in Conference Room A. Interested citizens are invited to attend these public hearings in the conference room or via Zoom and offer any comments. Grafton Finance Committee. I'd entertain a motion of the Finance Committee to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, by roll call, Dan.
Aye.
Dan Kusher.
Aye.
Yeah, Greg.
Aye.
Mark. Aye. Angelina.
Aye.
Victoria.
Aye.
Skip.
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
Heather.
Aye.
Nick.
Aye.
All right, so Evan, and Amber, thank you so much for scheduling all of these, and William, thank you for scheduling all these. We do have an order to go through tonight in the warrant. First up is the Cable TV Oversight Committee for Articles 2 and Article 16. I'd ask them to come up, please.
No, I'm a left. I gotta be on this side.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
both for being here tonight.
You're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome.
So Article 2 is to transfer $125,000 from the PEG account to the Cable Project account, and recommended by the Oversight Committee. You want to walk us through that, please?
Sure. Conference Room F, we're doing a big upgrade. We want Conference Room F to mirror Conference Room A. We also want Conference Room F to be an overflow of Conference Room A. So if there's a meeting here with more than 48 people, just like at the high school, you know, you have the gym auditorium that's part of town meeting sometimes, that's going to be the process now. And we're also going for a 3-camera shoot for the high school. So on town meeting, instead of that 1 camera, we're getting some different equipment that gives us the capability of a 3-camera shoot. Because I really don't want the sides of everybody's, resident's head when they're addressing the moderator. So we're going to position them so it's going to look a little more professional.
That's excellent. So that's $125,000. That's coming from your E&D account?
Absolutely.
As this is a public hearing, we're gonna take comments, and I'd ask, Amber, if you could just keep an eye on the Zoom chat to see if anybody's on there, with comments from the public that's not in this room tonight. I'd appreciate it, just to let me know. Are there any questions on Article 2 from any member of the Finance Committee? Any members from the public? All right, Article 16 is to appropriate a sum of money to fund the Grafton Community Television budget as recommended by the Oversight Committee. Right now, you have it at $565,228. Any highlights you want to bring to our attention?
Do you have specific questions, or do you want me to go down the shopping list?
Just give a brief overview of what the budget entails. I think it'd be very helpful, Bob. Please.
Absolutely. So as we're coming up on the final payment of the bond for the new TV studio, we were pretty conservative while we prepared the building, made the move, and paid the bond. But now we're coming to the point where, coming up on 10 years into my tenure, we have a bunch of equipment that potentially could or should be replaced. The last thing we want to have happen is a catastrophic failure where Room A is unusable or Room F is unusable. So there are a number of things that we should look at and potentially replace. It might all take place over the course of a 12-month calendar year. Some of those items are pricey and some aren't, but they're all vital to the operation. The 3 cameras that we used for live shoots in the studio potentially could be replaced at $15,000 a piece. Tripods that go with them. New studio switchers. We have 3, one here, one upstairs, and one at the main studio. Each of those could potentially be upgraded, and they're currently going around $20,000 a piece. studio teleprompter, which these two gentlemen over here will use if they do a warrant article program. Apple Mac computers, which we use for editing purposes. Those are rapidly climbing towards 5,000 a piece, and they're starting to show their age. I mean, it's taking longer and longer to edit government responsibility and get it out to the public. Desktop PCs, which are obsolete the day they deliver them. Wireless microphones at $1,200 for a three-pack. Handheld wireless microphones, $600 a pair. The studio lighting in the main studio down at the headquarters there could potentially be replaced. That was moved from the old studio. It survived the move, but they're starting to show signs that they're on the verge of failing. Some other items on the wish list were portable PA system for live events. And we're looking to purchase new streaming interface devices. The device that we use to go live from the library for the George Hill Road discussion and a couple of other meetings, that little device has given us the ability to go live as long as we have an internet connection to plug into. We want to get 3 or 4 more of them so that we can go to other locations at the drop of a hat and have 2 simultaneous meetings. The device is amazing because as soon as you plug it in, our server identifies it and says, oh, you want to broadcast this, and just takes it away. That type of technology also dovetails into what Mr. Berger was talking about. When we get the equipment, we're going to use internet technology to broadcast from the high school. We're not going to go through their network anymore.
So what's the balance in your account right now? And how many years are left on the bond for the studio?
This is the last year, correct?
This is the last year that we have to pay that bond, and then we're all paid off.
Okay, so we have a lot of money.
Yeah, we have basically $800 and something thousand in that account right now.
Okay.
And this $500,000 is covering the heat, you know, the entire operation down.
Salaries, everything.
The salaries, the OPEB, because I wanted to put the OPEB in because, you know, that's part of government.
Yep.
We're covering everything out of that 5%.
How's the subscriber numbers? Are they?
They're really not going down. I mean,
Really?
everybody says that everybody's cutting, but I'm still seeing the money coming in
Good.
at about $340,000 to $360,000 a year,
That's excellent.
and it's a split between 2/3 is Verizon and 1/3 is still Spectrum.
That's really good that you're not seeing a decline,
We're really not because the money's still coming in.
which is good, which allows you to do what Bob was just talking about with the replacement and all that. So
It's
that's
a
excellent.
decline, but it's not off a cliff decline.
Good.
So,
That's good.
So all of this money is coming out of the cable,
Contribution, absolutely.
so there's no taxpayer.
Well,
Well-
on the other side, there's a $3,000 budget that we have been historically funding from day one. And that might be part of the agreement that everybody makes with Charter and
Yep.
Verizon, that we have to kick something in.
Yep.
So we give them 3,000, or we put in 3,000, and we get 340,000. I think it's a good
Yep.
payoff.
It's pretty
Pretty good
Pretty good
return.
markup. So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you have another?
Nope.
Are there any other, oh, I did have another question. When are our contracts up, license agreements up with the two?
We're starting negotiations right now. We have a 10-year with
Charter.
with Charter or Spectrum, and we only have a 5-year with Verizon. And I really think they did that on purpose because every 2 years into it, you have to negotiate with an attorney. So that means the attorney's never leaving us.
Yeah.
Because if it's a 5 and a 10, they get 6 months off, and then they're back
They're
with
right
us
back
again.
at it.
So Verizon's negotiations are currently in process.
So you're in progress. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Are there any other questions from the Finance Committee? Are there any questions from the public? I thank the both of you for coming in tonight. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Nice summary.
Thanks.
Paul,
Everybody have a good night.
Two.
so the next articles we're gonna take up are the Board of Sewer Commissioners, Articles 15, 18, and 19. Paul, welcome. Thank you for being here tonight.
Wouldn't miss it.
So the first one is to, the operating budget for the sewer commission. We met with Paul during our budget deliberations and went over the budget. There's no changes since we did that.
There may be some changes, small changes in like the indirect costs. When, once health insurance costs to figure out and all that stuff. So that's
But everything else is pretty good.
Yeah, oh yeah,
terms of that?
yeah, nothing.
nothing. No, yeah, no.
No rate increases this year. Everything is
Correct.
stable.
Everything stays the same.
Are there any questions on Article 15? Because we did review this. Any questions from the public? Okay, Article 18 is an article to appropriate $150,000 for the major equipment, from retained earnings to the major equipment account. And I know we covered this, but just for the public's knowledge, what are you planning on using that for this year?
It's really just it's a reserve account, just as things break.
Okay.
And, you know, for example, right now we have like $25,000 in two grit dewatering compression screws. So it's just, you know, things break. It's a pretty industrial building and
Sure.
use, and so just that the things that happen during the course of the year. You can't budget for them. You don't know what's going to happen.
How many years are we into this upgraded plant?
So it was really put online and started in 16. Some of the equipment went on. It was finished and fully commissioned in 18.
And what's
So
the life expectancy?
It's 30 years.
30 years.
So, and you know, and again, right now we have $200,000 in server equipment that's online. So that's good. Once all that equipment comes in, it's got to be programmed, installed, because just the server rack, similar to what Bob was saying. Unlike the conference room F, that if it failed, it failed. But the stuff we have, you know, can't fail. So by the time we get a program, then it'll be 8 years old, and it just, you know, needs to be replaced. So.
Any questions on that article? Article 18? Any questions from the public? All right, Article 19 is the $100,000 from your retained earnings account to plant upgrade expansion account. I take it same type purpose?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. It would be if, say the UV system, if there was a change in hardware or bulbs that we wanted to, that would make that more efficient, we would buy that out of that account.
Okay. What do you have in your E&D account balance right now? Do you know off the top of your head?
The retained earnings, is that E&D, whatever. That it's upwards of $3 million.
So it's plenty of money to keep you going and keep you operating.
Correct.
Any questions on Article 19? Any questions from the public? You know, I know we're very difficult and hard on you, but I appreciate you coming out tonight.
Not a problem. Let's see.
Thank you very, very much. The next article to cover is Article 34, which is a citizen's petition, which is a resolution in support of changing the flag and seal of Massachusetts. Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Can you identify your name for the record, please?
Absolutely. My name is Chantel Kimball.
Hi, Chantel. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me. And thank you again for all the work that you do. It's not lost on me how busy this time of year is for you, so I appreciate having a couple of minutes to present some information about this article. I wasn't sure how much to prepare in advance, so
Give us a summary of the purpose of the article and what you're looking to accomplish with it.
yeah. So the in short, Article 34 acknowledges the history of colonization and genocide here in Massachusetts. It spells out very specifically how this history is clearly and intentionally represented in our state seal and subsequently on our state flag and on multiple state documents. And it calls on our state leadership to move forward with some steps already in progress with the creation of a new state seal and new state flag.
Is this in many different communities? Are there many different communities are pursuing this?
Yep, absolutely.
Right now?
There are 57 communities within the state who have already voted on this issue, and another 24 have it on their agenda for this spring, much as we do. Particularly in Grafton, given our shared history with the Nipmuc, who predated us by many, many years here on this land, it feels really important to add our voices to this effort and make sure that our state legislators know that the town of Grafton is in support of this, that we feel it's important to discontinue the harm that this imagery continues to do for the people who are still here today, representing those populations. So the good news, it doesn't ask for any money, right? Like, again, there are some efforts already underway. There has been a commission established, a 19-member commission established to recommend new imagery, including representatives from the Nipmuc, Massachusetts, and Wampanoag tribes, as well as some historians and legislators. So again, really, this is lending our voices to other communities and kind of making sure that this forward motion continues. Indigenous leaders have been raising this issue for 50 years or so. There have been sort of fits and starts in the legislature for the last 30 years. And finally in 2021, things sort of started getting moving, but then, there have been sort of delays in establishing the commission and then delays in funding the commission and then a failure to extend their deadline to get the work done. So now they have a deadline of November 15th, 2023 to present new imagery. They have been given a small budget. to
Have there been any imagery, shown right now?
Not as of yet. But there are a couple of things that I did want to share just for anyone who is interested in more information. Yep. First is the website, changethemassflag.com. That is where I got a lot of the information. There are some video testimonies from Indigenous leaders, including members of the committee. And the reason I take this opportunity to mention that site is that there's a really great moment in the video where Brittany Wally, who I think many of us are familiar with, is talking about how I think if any of us sit down and imagine like what we like best about living in Massachusetts and what we want people to think about when they see our flag, what they want people to think about Massachusetts, like genocide and colonization are not the first things that are going to come to mind. And her vision is really that we're able to identify an image that better represents Massachusetts, but also better represents the unity of all of our people. Here today and the things that we're proud of in the state. And she said it, of course, much better than I was able to do, but, I definitely encourage that. I'd also like to invite the public to a meeting at the Grafton Public Library on Monday, April 24th, at 7 p.m., where we will have a speaker from changethemassflag.com who will be able to who will speak to the issue, talk a little bit more about the history, and answer questions.
Have you presented this to the select board yet?
That's next week.
Next week, okay. So I was going to ask if the select board took a position yet, so that's next week.
Next week.
Julie, I see you have your hand up. Please feel free to chime right in.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking a moment to listen to us. I would just echo everything that Chantel said and just really adding that there is a lot of widespread support for this. And the reason we're bringing it to town meeting is a hope to move the process further along by showing that individual towns support the commission's work. Basically, the commission was established, money was given behind the effort, but then the deadline where they had to come up with images ran out very quickly. Sorry, there's a baby screaming in the background. And so the idea is the Grafton, being, as Chantel said, very connected with the Nipmuc community, would show, in addition to other towns around Massachusetts, support so that the commission actually is given the funds and the time to achieve what would hopefully be a better representation of Massachusetts.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. Great summary from both of you. Appreciate it. Are there any questions from the members of the Finance Committee?
Yeah, quick one. In terms of our local Indigenous community here in Grafton, have we heard from them on their feelings about changing the state seal and moving forward with new imagery?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Chantel,
No,
go
that's
ahead.
okay. No, yeah. The short answer is yes.
Great.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the select board is prepared to share, like, they attended one of their meetings recently and received even more feedback
Oh,
than
good.
Julie and I have right now, so.
Perfect. So feedback from the local community as well to encourage the change.
Not just feedback about the effort, which they wholeheartedly support, but also with the wording of the article. They, Brittany Wally took a look and even fine-tuned it so that it would be more Grafton specific.
Oh, good.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Evan, did you want to say something?
We did meet with representatives from the tribe. They did not speak about the state seal.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Mark, you do have one hand on Zoom.
Go ahead. Do you want to allow them to speak? Can you please identify yourself for the record?
Mr. Head, this is Andy Jefferson of the Select Board.
Oh, Andy, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see that. So hello, Andy. How are you? That's a great
I'm doing
picture.
well.
To transform.
Go ahead, Andy.
I just wanted to share that no, the Select Board has not officially taken a position on this. But we did, as Evan mentioned, have a recent meeting with the local Hassanamesko Nipmuc band. It went really well. We've pledged our support to them in just about every field that we can. And while I won't speak on behalf of the board, I do expect that the board will endorse this measure, this article. So
I appreciate that, Optimus. Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? Any other questions from the public? All right, excellent. Thank you both for being here this evening and presenting your article to us. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us.
The next article on for review is another citizen's petition, Article 35, which is to dissolve the existing Affordable Housing Trust. Is there somebody here for that?
Sure.
Can you come up, please? And
They're not he's not the proponent of the,
is the proponent here?
yes, via Zoom.
Oh, hello.
Hello, this is Nancy Piccone from 3 High Point Drive.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate your time.
How are you? I did want to join as a presenter and give a short
I'm fixing it.
presentation. Actually, I'm lacking the details.
I can't. Is there a problem?
It's muffled, like.
Yep. And Nancy, we can't
breaking
hear what you're saying.
Right out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We're as loud as we can.
Now, I'm sorry.
All right.
I think it says my internet connectable. I apologize.
Yeah, we were having a hard time. You're coming in and out in the presentation, so it's hard for us to hear. Let me ask a question. Nancy, if we reschedule this article for tomorrow night, could you be here in person tomorrow?
Yes.
So why don't we, and I apologize for anybody that came out tonight for this, but I want to be able to hear what she has to say, and if the internet connection is weak, is that an issue with anybody if we do
I would
that?
rather do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Nancy,
Totally fine.
we'll put you first on the agenda tomorrow night. We start at 7 o'clock. If you don't mind coming out tomorrow night, I would really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. I just, we can't hear and,
Okay.
okay. Is that all right with everybody?
It's fine by me.
All right. All right, so I apologize for anybody that came out for that particular article tonight, and I hope you can come back tomorrow. The next article on the warrant is from the Select Board, which is Article 31.
Well, should we hear
Nope.
from anybody who did come out for it tonight, if they can't come back tomorrow?
Well, yeah, the problem is we haven't heard their presentation on what their rationale is, so if we don't hear from the proponent, I don't know. You tell me, it's a pleasure of this committee. Whatever you want to do. If there are people here that want to speak to it, I'll listen to it, but I don't think we have the presentation from the proponent, so I don't think it's, I don't know, that's just my opinion.
Trying to answer something before you get what the intent
That's-
is
yeah.
tough, and
I think that's
could
the
be
problem.
where art thou and get nowhere.
But it's up to the finance committee. You decide what you want to do. All right, we'll schedule tomorrow night. Are you all right with that?
Yeah,
Okay. So the next article is Article 31, which is an amendment to the town charter. Now, what's in the, yes,
Just excuse me, this is a public hearing.
Yep.
Do we have to wait until there's a presentation? Or, I mean, people came out, and people could come out after the presentation. If we had the presentation tonight, people could come out tomorrow night and make comments. So, I don't know
as
what
I
the
said,
law-
I am fine with however the committee wants to handle it.
I guess,
Robin,
can we
one
ask
from
if
the
anybody
top.
has
All right,
comments?
is there
tonight?
anybody that has comments in the public for this article tonight? No one, go ahead, come on up to the table. But just understand that we don't know what the rationale of the proponent is, so it's hard to, but go ahead.
Yeah, and he doesn't get to come back tomorrow night.
Yeah. Ed
No two
Prisby,
bites at the apple, just one.
He can come back
We
tomorrow.
don't have time for
once.
that.
Whoa.
Identify your for the record and please go right ahead.
yeah, Ed Prisby, 25 Danielle Drive. My only comment is I was wondering about the rationale. That's really why I'm here tonight, just to hear what the rationale is.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
so it's important to get that rationale before we comment on it. Thank you, Mr. Prisby, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay, so Article 31, Evan, the way this is submitted on the warrant right now is for the way it would work is town meeting by 2/3 vote and then a ballot question.
We have changed that.
We have changed that, so do we have a revision of that article?
I do. I am sharing my screen currently, and enhance. Oh. again.
Is the revision in this that was on the table? No. Of course not.
Everybody lost you.
I know, I'm working on it.
Evan's trying to share his screen.
I am.
If Zoom would just
Hop into
cooperate,
it.
right?
What's that?
I'm gonna hop into
I
it.
think you need a new computer.
I do. I actually am due. It's been like a month.
It's been
and a
6
half.
months, maybe.
It's been a month.
Yeah, why don't you jump in and try to do that? Well, because it's not working here. I'm assuming it's something that Amber's doing, but
Poor Amber.
Or not.
Oh, something.
Amber, we don't blame you. We blame Evan.
Poor Amber.
screen sharing is paused.
Unshare your screen.
Resume share.
Do it tomorrow night.
Do anything.
Not one for tomorrow night.
Everything's.
I'm trying to.
Maybe we should have Evan come back tomorrow night.
Gotta get that.
Trust me, I'm gonna be here. I would love to stop the sharing. There we go. Amber, you got to work on that.
Nothing like technology when it won't work.
Yep. I'm really just hoping this doesn't work for William.
Bada boom, bada bing.
He's got the magic fingers.
It's going in your file.
And William, can you make it larger?
Yeah.
When you get
Oh, boy.
Enhance.
Mark, you can get, no letter or page. Oh, you got your glasses on.
I can see it now. Now I can see it. All right. So instead of doing the 2/3 vote and then the ballot question, this will be a special act.
Yep.
It goes majority vote at town meeting and then the legislature and then the governor. So walk us. Who are you here representing the select board on this?
I am not.
Oh, is there anybody from the select board?
I guess I am.
That's you. Okay, Evan, do you want to walk us through?
Sure.
the article?
So it in its essence, right? We all know what it is. It shifts the town clerk in Grafton from elected to appointed, and makes the necessary changes that you would need. I can't scroll my screen. And it updates the charter via special act rather than going the two votes like you talked about.
So if I see section 2 here, it
Yes.
says that the position is abolished, the elected position is abolished,
Correct.
and that the term of the elected incumbent is terminated either at the end of the current term
Yep.
or sooner resignation.
Yes.
So it does not undo the election. It
Correct.
keeps the elected
Yes, that's a
town
great
clerk
point.
in position.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, once that happens, either one, then when that term is up, which is when? Do we know when the current term is up?
2 years.
2 years.
Think
Yep.
in 2
All right, so in 2025.
Yep.
The, that position will then become an appointed position of the town administrator.
Correct.
Subject to ratification by the select board.
Yep.
Okay. So now, this was previously voted at a town meeting, what, last year?
Yes.
Yeah, a year and a half.
Year and a half ago. Town meeting, we don't know, town meeting passed it, we don't know if it was by 2/3.
No, they passed it by majority.
Yep.
They did not make the 2/3. However, the town meeting body was told that it was a majority vote.
Gotcha.
And so people left that night believing that it had passed.
Yep.
And then learned the next day that it should have been a 2/3 and that it wasn't called properly, not by the moderator, by our warrant. So we've taken a different approach, which would keep it as a majority.
Yep.
But I think it's a simpler process, and we don't have the same time restraints that you would with other charter changes that you're trying to do. So if the legislature takes a year to get this done for us,
They could take 2 years.
right, it doesn't
So,
matter.
my only question is, what happens if it gets lost and it takes longer than 2 years and then we don't have a town
I've
clerk?
never had one take that long. They're actually, I for as much as the state house is chaotic, they are really good at special acts and track them very well.
It took the
The worst that
finance
would happen
committee,
would
it
be
took
we'd
the
have to
finance
elect.
committee a year.
Right.
It did
But
take a
we
year.
had, but we were making sure to have David and Mike stay on top of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We did this in the fall of 22 in Groton, and the legislature passed it by March
Mm-hmm.
of 23. So,
Not with
Is-
us though.
Huh?
Not with us, though. It took a whole year.
I know, with us, it took a
Yeah.
whole year, but I think if we stay on top of our state legislators and state senator and state legislature, state senate representative, they'll get that to go through.
Yep.
So, I'm obviously in support of this, but is there any questions from the members of the finance committee?
Just could we get a printed version of this
You-
before tomorrow night?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Dan,
With
go ahead.
the finance committee one, that happened and then COVID started, right?
Yeah, there was a
So
lot
I
of
think that
problems.
also probably.
It was passed during COVID.
Yeah,
So.
there was a lot of COVID issues that caused that delay. And, there was a question on when it got submitted by the town clerk to the state legislature. So there was a lot of issues that impacted that. Are there any questions or any comments from the public? Has the select board taken an official, I know you guys submitted this as a,
They will do that on the 18th.
they'll do that on the 18th,
Yep.
okay. All right, are there any other
So-
points or questions? Go ahead, Angelina.
So basically, you're changing it from needing a 2/3 vote to a majority vote?
Yeah, there's two processes in which to change the charter. One is a two-step process, 2/3 vote at town meeting, and then a ballot initiative, or ballot question rather, sorry. And then this one, which is fairly clean, which is just petitioning for a special act of the legislature. They do require two different votes at town meeting though. One is 2/3, one is 50, simple majority rather.
Most of the changes that communities submit for special, most of the changes in charters and things like that come through a special act and not through the way we have done it.
Yeah.
Before, so I think this is a cleaner way to do it. It gets to the legislature, and the legislature, when they go through it, House Counsel, Senate Counsel, they make sure everything is in line with the charter and it's all legal. And I think it's a much cleaner process. I agree with you 100%.
I like it
on that. Do you have anything else, Angelina? No. Victoria?
I do not.
You good? Everybody's good? All right. The next article is Article 14, which I believe is the capital budget. So, Evan.
Yeah.
Is the capital budget in an addendum in the, on the warrant?
Yep, it's addendum B.
Addendum B. Is it possible, and I know I'm really taking a chance here.
Will's gonna put it on the screen.
Thank you. That's what I was gonna ask. So we had reviewed this, during our budget deliberations, you had walked us through it. If you could just, for me and the public, I think it would be very helpful to talk about how we're funding this.
Yep.
And, what's coming from free cash, what's coming from the capital stabilization, how much is gonna be there, what we're gonna be raising next year. I would appreciate that.
Sure. So, the entire package is $1,789,418. We are going to transfer $233,218 from free cash, and $60,000 from the sewer enterprise account. And then we will use $1,496,200 from capital stabilization. That fairly well depletes capital stabilization. We don't wipe it out, but we're definitely we're using the money that we have.
That we raised.
Yeah.
And the specific purpose of, if I remember correctly, from 2020, the specific purpose for the override that year was to put money for this, for you. So I'm
Correct.
glad you're spending
Yeah,
all the money.
And we're trying to keep, that balance in that account at maybe $250,000 to 200,000 for the specific purpose of having a little bit of wiggle room should something come up and then we need to appropriate some money at the fall town meeting. So we are trying to be a little conservative in that manner. As far as the items on the list, they have not changed since we presented to you last. The latest addition, and forgive me if I'm misremembering, I think this was in the FinCom hearing, but if not, the last addition is actually the police department phone system at $29,218. That was a late addition to the process. We upgraded the phone system at the fire department to interact with the phone system at the police department. Same vendor, same server, same it's called a PBX, and same VoIP phones, and they're not playing well together because the police department's technology is
Old.
So we're gonna bring them to the same level of technology as the fire department, and then that should give us failover between both emergency service departments. Do you want me to go kind of through it?
I
line
think
by line?
we've
What do you-
been through it. If there are questions from the public on it, if there are questions from members of the finance committee on specific items, I'd entertain that. Unless,
So that's
go
just
ahead.
gonna leave us with nothing for 2023?
Well, it'll be replenished.
Oh, okay.
Because it's that the capital stabilization account gets funded through the override, which is $800,000 plus the 2.5% every year.
Gotcha.
We also fund some of the projects out of free cash, and we are, I'd have to bring it up, but we're well below the 1/3 limit. I think 1/3 was around $500,000, and we are at 233. So there's.
It's a good use of the money.
I think so. There is another article on here that you will get to that uses free cash in this fiscal year. And I will explain why that's not part of the capital plan, and I will also explain that funding structure at that time. But you'll see it just in case you see that somewhere else. Article 3.
We'll be getting to that shortly.
I think it's also probably worth reiterating, although we've alluded to it several times, that as this committee, this is the third to fourth time any individual member is reviewing any of these particular budgets, as we've gone through quite a lengthy process.
And-
So
and it
this
has
is for,
been-
this is for the public's benefit to really speak up, as we
Yeah.
Glad you said that,
we
Victoria.
ourselves
Yep.
are pretty well versed in what we're looking at right now.
Yes, and it has been
Thank
fluid and available on ClearGov for months and months.
100%.
So, thank you.
Any other questions on Article 14? Any questions from the public? All right. Let's go to Article, the next article, which is Article 30, which is to see if the town will enter into a TIF agreement with Feedback Earth that the TIF committee did. If you want to explain that to us, Evan, I'd appreciate it.
Yep, so it's an incremental tax agreement. The savings is only on the new portion of the building, which is a $2 million renovation, 2.4, I think. We're looking to remove the taxes on that 100% year one, 75% year two, 50% year three, 25% year four, 1% year five, because it has to be a 5-year agreement, so you have to have something in year 5. And in return, they are pledging to create 16 full-time jobs for Grafton specific residents, and then I believe it's another 14 jobs on top of that are not specific to
At the end of the 5 years, what's the tax revenue for the town anticipated to be? I know it's an estimate now, because you don't know what the tax rate's gonna be and all that stuff, but.
Well, let me look that up real
Okay.
quick.
It's an estimate.
Yeah, I came up with like $30,000 savings over the $30,000 over those years.
It's not big.
'cause
It's not
Okay,
big
that's-
dollars because it's only
only on the
It's
700.
only on the, okay,
exactly.
all right.
So
No, that
this-
makes perfect sense.
And I don't think in my calculation I
Thank
actually
you,
have
Greg.
them separated. So thank you, Greg.
So you said 175, what's third, fourth?
50.
50?
Just keep going down by 25%,
Okay,
and then when you hit year 5, we needed it to be at 1%.
Yep.
And so we did. We've already given the state this initial pass of the TIF agreement, so that Feedback Earth would be eligible for some state incentive grants for their expansion as well. So
and I heard last night they were hoping that they can hire 15 Grafton people.
yeah, it's actually the Ray had said 15. The agreement actually says 16.
Okay,
But
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, 700,000 at 16,000. 16 per thousand is 11,200.
Okay. Excellent. All right, no, good agreement.
Yeah, I think it's solid.
And the
It's,
fact that they're guaranteeing some local jobs, that's fantastic. Nice
yeah,
job.
they've been a good company to work with. The TIF committee, which is now comprised of just Ray Mead and Carl Moisen, they're the ones that did the negotiation piece, and I wrote the agreement. So, good team effort there, and I think it's a win for.
No, it sounds like it. Any other questions on that? Because
Mark,
that'll
you have
ex-
one hand on Zoom.
Oh, go ahead. Thanks. Go ahead.
Hi, Leanne Gagnon, 17 Maplewood Drive. I listened to the meeting last night about this TIF agreement with Feedback Earth, and I just wanted to share just a little bit of disappointment as there was no community outreach in this area when they said the smell issues were resolved, but they're not resolved. There's been frequent reports of them. And the fact that they're expanding and how is this going to affect this area wasn't addressed at all last night. And nobody, like, it seems like nobody asks the people that are actually complaining about it what's going on. And I don't understand how, like, as a taxpayer, I have to finance them growing their business when I can't open my windows in the summer. So I'm a little confused about this.
Do you have a response to that?
Sure. So that's a fair point. I think we did not discuss that generally here, and we don't discuss it at the select board meeting because that was the TIF meeting. Generally speaking, those issues would be addressed through the planning board or zoning board, whatever board that they're going through for their expansion. But I think that's a fair point. We did work with them and the state of Massachusetts to put in place a hotline for the residents to call. And the state DEP is the one that monitors odor issues and not the town of Grafton. So we do have limited control over that.
Leanne, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes.
Please
Can you
do.
hear me?
Yep, please do.
It was also mentioned last night that they were going to be expanding to another area of town, but there was no mention of where that would be beyond where they are in Creeper Hills.
No, I think maybe that was addressed incorrectly or somebody misspoke, but we don't have any.
They're staying within the footprint.
They're on that same parcel that they already are. So if you go up there now, they've got their main building, and then you can see there's an earthen berm down along Creeper Hill Road. And that's the expansion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, disappointment over the fact that I see a lot of community outreach meetings lately about different things in town. But it seems like some areas of town are being left out for the community outreach.
Okay. So we have, that is an actual push that we've been doing to do more outreach meetings. I will say that my office hasn't had and the board hasn't had a smell complaint that came across our desks in, I would guesstimate, a year. So I can reach out to DEP and see if we can get any reports that have come in that were substantiated, and then I can bring that to the select board's attention.
I think that'd be good. Anything else, Leanne? Okay.
No, thank you for your time. Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you for participating. Are there any other questions on that article? So because I don't like scrolling up and down, next there are a bunch of articles here, but Article 32 is right after Article 30, and I could get to it pretty quick. I'm very limited in my technology.
It's right after 31.
So can we do Article 32 next? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's after 31.
It's after 31 next. It
Is that
works,
not
works really well.
That math.
I could, every once in a while, I shock the world.
It's the new math.
So Article 32 is for $7 million to pay the cost of the George Hill Road resurfacing. You had talked to us about that. I know the select board discussed it last night.
Yep.
If you can give us an overview of the project and what the financing plan is, that would be great.
Sure. So that number is going to change based on the board's vote last night. So your packet says $7 million. It's actually $3.5 million.
Oh.
Because we're splitting between excluded debt and taking money out of the road stabilization account.
So we're gonna use road stabilization.
We are. So.
Why did we change that? Because I know when we talked about this when Paul was before us, we were afraid that if we take it out of road stabilization, that will limit and slow down the great work they've done on other roads. What was the change in reasoning?
So
Financial?
So let me just say, the change is twofold. One is that we spent a lot of time talking about equity, and that the folks on George Hill Road have been paying into a system and not really getting any benefit, and so we don't want to put all the onus on. Well, you have to pay. Everybody. This has to be 100% excluded debt. We thought that there was more equity in it coming between the two, and the second was it was a board decision. So I put it in front of the board and said, "What's your pleasure?" We talked about what we thought might pass easier and get more public support, and so the whole idea of splitting the baby was the way to go.
Okay.
We are actively pursuing two grants. One is MassWorks, and one is the MVP grant. We have split the ask between the overlay, which is MassWorks, and the stormwater, which is MVP grant. So we are actively pursuing both of those.
Those MVP grants are very, very difficult to get. Basically, look for nature-based solutions to the
Yep.
flooding. Do we have a nature-based solution here?
We sure do.
Awesome.
Billy,
I don't
you-
know
you
what
had
a
said you
nature-based
were,
solution is, but I'm
We're
glad-
using a lot of the outfalls.
Yep. So we're using a lot of the outfalls, and what we're doing is we're adding sumps at each of the catch basins. So that should be the primary stage filtration, and then the water would take its natural course down to.
That's the nature-based solution. I like
I
that.
say
I think
nature
I know
all
what
the
a
time.
nature-based solution is.
Nature-based
I got it.
solution. If you write an MVP grant, don't put nature-based solution in it. You're not gonna get it.
You're not gonna get, I learned that the hard way. So let me ask a question. So the $3.5 million, what's the impact? How many years are we gonna bond this for? And if the override passes, debt exclusion passes, what's the impact on the taxes?
Sure. So it's a 15-year note. I'm just gonna pull up my notes here so that I am speaking correctly. Where am I at here? Will, come on, Will. Okay, so $7 million. If it was that total amount, we get no grant money, and it comes in at its highest estimate. You're looking at $48.26 per household. That's for an average household for 15 years.
All right, so then.
And then the rest-
obviously less if it's $3.5 million.
Exactly.
Half
So
of that,
so
possibly.
half
Well,
of it.
that,
correct.
that is the split.
Oh,
That's
that
the
is the
number is
split.
the split.
Oh,
So
okay.
that
Thank you.
right. So it's roughly $630,000 a year to pay that debt, and so if we take $315 out of road stabilization, $315 out of the debt exclusion, you're at $48.26 per household. I did stipulate last night that people should be aware that it's not going to be $315 and $315. There will be some way financially that works out, but it would be pretty close to 50-50.
Go ahead, Victoria.
So if we're applying for both of these grants, both the MassWorks and the MVP, if one of the two were to fall through, the entire project
Would be funded.
would fall through. We would not get either of those.
Right. That would be
s-
the $7 million.
That would supplement the town money. So he's saying that the
okay.
worst case scenario is the $48.
Yes.
Any state money that comes in, it will lower it.
We'll lower that. I
Did
think.
I explain
Correct.
that
No,
right?
that's exactly what I was saying. Yes.
You said it eloquently.
I don't know that I did. I'm having a rough night over here.
No. Excuse
Well, hey,
my-
listen, at
my
least you didn't forget
definition.
Dan's last name tonight. Like,
No, I know.
that's a rough night.
I've lived on that 48.26 for the past, 3 weeks, and you said, what's the number? And I was like, I don't have any numbers in my head right now. This is-
So my
This is horrible.
second question is, we previous to this conversation had not looked at either of these grants as supplementing that fundage. Were we looking at applying for either of these grants for a separate project that now will not get that attention?
That's a great question.
No. I would say no. The short answer is no. So, MassWorks grants, generally speaking, you use to connect centers of economic development to areas of population growth. That's kind of what they look for. Downtown initiatives, things like that. So, I don't have a huge amount of hope that we're going to get that particular grant. We are hanging our hat on some housing on one side of George Hill Road that we're gonna make the argument we're gonna connect back through. The MVP grant, I think we have a stronger case for, honestly. We were doing some minor MVP grant applications, which generally this year was going to be used for vegetation in our waterways, so vegetation reduction. We're still going to be able to do that. That's not going to get put on hold, but it's a small amount. It's like $10,000 or $15,000. So rather than go for that, we're going to go for $3.5 million.
Yeah.
And see what we can get. I do think we have a really strong case for this project. I think we're checking all the boxes that MVP has told us that
That's
we
awesome.
need to be.
Oh, I
checked.
hope you get it.
I do too. I do too.
Anything else, Victoria?
Nope, that's all set. Thank you so much.
There will be a ballot question about this, and that was part of the reason, if you didn't see the meeting last night, is that one of the options was an override to increase the road stabilization, and we were concerned that there would not be enough time to notify the public about this before they got their mail-in voting ballot in the mail and saw an override on the ballot. So the debt exclusion, for the 15-year debt exclusion at the 48, we thought much more palatable than.
Makes sense. So if the debt exclusion fails, this project's on hold for another year?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's contingent on that particular?
It really is.
Because we don't have the debt capacity to the 315,000.
We do not. And so,
The other option is to fund it all out of road stabilization, but.
that would be a big.
But then that would be the big,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That's, I remember that part of the
Yeah,
discussion
I mean,
with
that's,
Paul.
that's still the concern even with this
Yep.
plan. I fully support this plan. I think that we have good momentum, going in this direction. But that is always the thing in the back of my mind is trying to keep up with the roads that we know, are constantly.
Well, let me ask you a question. So it's 7 million.
Yep.
We're going for $3.5 million debt exclusion. We're going for a $3.5 million MVP grant.
Mhm.
If we get the MVP grant, are you going to lower the impact to both the other accounts equally?
That would be my argument, yes.
I think that's absolutely the way to go. I think that's absolutely the way to go. I support that 100%. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions on this? Thank you, Evan. That was a good explanation. Any questions from the public? Dave?
Sure. You gotta do something besides just sit here.
Do you have to?
That's what I was
I
thinking.
feel obligated.
Remember, you do have to go home tonight. I just want to point that out.
Yes, indeed. So I'll keep it short. Just a comment relative to Evan's earlier comment about, the equity concept of this. There are approximately 75 residences on George Hill Road. And since in the 9 years that the Road Stabilization Fund has been in existence, a rough calculation, I don't have all the detailed information going back that far, but the rough calculation says that the 75 of us on George Hill Road have kicked in about $200,000 over the years to that Road Stabilization Fund. So, yeah, we wouldn't mind getting a little bit of it back on our road.
Right.
Very fair point. Is he allowed to go home?
Yeah.
Okay. That was actually very well said.
Absolutely. I knew it would be.
Article 3 is $150,000 from free cash
So
for the roof repairs. Is this what you were talking about earlier?
Exactly what I was talking about. So what we're doing here is we're using free cash to, if you recall back, and I'm forgetting my fiscal years here, we had funded a roof repair at the schools. I think it was Milbury Street, if I remember correctly. Is that what I'm doing? At any rate.
Not Milbury Street.
No. What
North,
was the, remember
North,
Yeah, it would have been north.
I can pull it up. I don't know off the top of mind.
But go on.
So anyways, there's a leaky roof at one of the schools. We went out to bid. Bids came in too high. We needed additional money. This is the additional money.
Okay.
To complete that project. But we are getting a FEMA reimbursement from North Grafton Elementary.
That's what I thought.
Thank you. And so we are getting roughly $123,000 back in FEMA money. So what we're going to do is we're basically fronting this money out of free cash, and the FEMA money will close back into free cash. But now we don't have to wait. We
Just want to get it done.
this done. Yes,
I think
correct.
that makes perfect sense.
And what was that number for the FEMA?
123.
It was like 123. It's not the full 150, and I
Yep.
told Jay he can make it up to me later.
My only question is, why didn't we just put this in the capital budget?
One, when I was creating the capital budget, we hadn't had this conversation.
Okay.
And two, I wanted to impact this fiscal year, and that's why it's in
In
consent.
the consent agenda, okay. Not, gotcha. Because then if you get the FEMA money by June 30th, it closes out and then.
Correct.
Gotcha. All right. Any questions on that article? Any questions from the public? All right. Article 4, which is town reports, so, yeah. Any questions on town reports?
Do we have any this year?
You can go to the interwebs.
It is the town report.
Yes, correct.
Any questions on Article 4? All right. Article 6, which is $503,000 for the state aid highway purposes. You want to just give a brief overview of that, Evan?
Sure, we're getting 500 in Chapter 90 money, and so what happens is the state gives us the Chapter 90 money, and town meeting needs to.
Why does town meeting have to?
It's beyond me. It's
Because
the way it's
I've never
always
done, in this town,
been. It was the way in my previous town too.
I've never done this. In 37 years of municipal government. I
Mark,
have
don't
never
say
done
that
this.
out loud. They'll ask you for it back.
Oh, I never mind. We do it all the time and it's done properly.
Now
All
I know
right.
where to go get that money for George Hill Road. Plot back up.
The next article is Article 7. Oh, I'm sorry, are there any questions on that? No. I apologize if I skipped ahead there. Article 7 is the town bylaws.
That allows us to sell surplus items.
Oh, okay. That's a standard yearly
Yes,
article.
correct. Yep.
Article 8 is the borrow money from time to time.
Yep, that just authorizes the treasurer collector to do that on behalf of the select board.
That's a standard article. Article 9 is the annual article for the revolving funds bylaw. Are we increasing any of the maximum expenditures
I
this year?
don't believe so, Mary. We kept that. It's status quo to last year.
No.
No, Mary will tell you.
Yeah, we had to increase the recreation to 450,000. I believe it was 200,000, and they're spending a lot more money in the revolving funds.
She said that when she came in. She said that when she came in to present her budget to us, so that makes sense.
Yep.
That makes sense. Thank you for that.
Wasn't
Mary.
there a second one that was being increased?
We
added the
the
18 to
school.
22.
Yeah, I thought there was another amount that came in after the.
We did that in the fall. We added that.
I just remember from
we
the
went
from
to
the bylaw review committee. Because I worked on this article for bylaw review.
Yeah, there will be 3 of them deleted from the bylaw,
But not until the bylaw review study completes its work.
right?
No, they're actually. I believe they're gone from here,
Yeah, they're gone from here.
so we don't have to include that in ours.
No.
Great.
No.
No second guessing.
Anything
No,
else?
okay, it was just it went from 350 to 450.
Yep. Any other questions on that? All right, Article 10 is the Transportation Services contract for the WRTA.
Yep, standard.
Standard annual. Any questions on Article 10? Article 13 is the budget. Article 13 is the budget.
Did you skip 11?
No, consent agenda. Well, yeah, you're jumping around there.
No, I'm going in the order that's on the agenda.
Now we are. The last time you said we're gonna follow the thing because that's your technology limit.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
oh,
Now we're going around. Okay.
Well, 'cause that's Board of Assessors.
I'm sorry. I was doing your article.
No, I know, but we were going by that at the beginning. Then he changed it up. Now he's
Well, I
changing it
changed because Article 32 is part of this, Evan. Look at the agenda.
I don't want to.
Very hard to follow. Okay.
He changed the orders of the articles within one line.
Finance
Thank
committee.
you,
He's
Greg.
he's hung up on the new math.
All right, what are we on now? 14?
13.
We did 14 already.
So that's the budget.
Did we? This doesn't make any sense to me. Yes, that's the budget.
All right, so the total,
We're following the
I know,
agenda.
But then he deviated.
no, I didn't. I said I'm gonna take Article 32 as part of the next set of articles. I wanted to take that one next.
I don't remember this.
Dave,
Anyways.
you agree with me, right, Dave?
Don't
No?
do it, Dave. I'm gonna get your road paved.
Oh, we're getting
Wow.
threats now.
No, that was just a
Wow.
gentle reminder.
Wow.
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 right.
So the total budget is 73,143,829. Is that the number that we discussed? Has that changed? Has that
Discussed that.
changed?
We haven't changed the budget in.
That's interfund transfers you were looking at.
But it did change after we met because we had to
so is it
increase for the
different from the two
BVT. I had to adjust for that.
Right.
And then I had to do one more adjustment in the maintenance salary line.
So, but those were the only changes, right, Mayor?
Mm-hmm.
So the total budget, when you add the interfund transfers of 50,000, is 74,933,247. Correct. And at the end of the day, what's our excess levy capacity based on this budget? Is it still the 350 that you present?
$133,000.
$133,000.
Yep.
So the total in Appendix A compressed budget is 74,933. The total in Appendix A detailed is 73,143.
Right.
20.
Why are they different?
Appendix A includes capital items. The compressed includes the capital
It's
article.
the 1.7.
okay.
It's 1.7 million.
Yep.
So
33.
All right.
this is the budget, right? 74,933,247.
Well, so the budget won't match because I put in BVT in the budget.
Yep.
So I have to pull that out for the omnibus because they have their own warrant
It's
article.
a separate article. I got you.
Yes, so the BVT plus the appendix in there will equal ClearGov number.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
I don't think we've ever included Knoxville Valley before.
No,
And then-
it's a separate article.
Yeah.
But if you go, what Mary's saying is if you go on ClearGov and you look at the total number of
Yeah.
ClearGov, it includes BVT.
Okay.
Because there's no way to take it out of the ClearGov calculation.
Yeah, so, yeah,
So ClearGov is gonna show the 74,900,000 and change plus the BVT assessment.
Correct.
so Appendix A compressed includes capital, Appendix A detailed does not, and that's the difference.
Yep, correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the BVT is a separate article, which is Article
Yep.
17. Does everybody have that? Because when we vote, if we vote to support the budget tonight, I want to go with the compressed budget as our vote if we do that.
But we need to exclude capital
Exclude
articles.
capital. We're going to do it by function. We're going to do general government. Remember how we did that last year? That's how I want to do it this year.
Okay.
All right. So the next article, I understand that the citizens petition, the other citizens petition has been
Yep.
withdrawn?
So that was for taking Joncas Terrace as a public way. The more time we spent on that project with the residents, the more questions we had. So what we are doing is following our Article 19 of our general bylaws. And I asked them to withdraw their petition. Last night, the select board voted to order the DPW director to create a layout with meets and bounds to identify exactly where that road is. And then we will revisit taking it as a public way at a future meeting.
Will we go through the subdivision rules to make sure it's to subdivision standards? Will the planning board sign off on that?
I think we're gonna go the, what is it, chapter 80 route, chapter 82,
Oh, okay.
which is not that.
Not that.
But if you look at, I have all the deeds going back to 1949. We were able to locate the road, figure out who owned the road. We have some concern that there's some encroachment actually into the layout. So once we do all of that, I think we're just gonna go the straight MGL, taking private to public.
Gotcha.
Is that the section 19 of the bylaws?
Correct. Well, it's partially. So here's the problem. Our bylaws only address betterments. They don't address straight takings.
Mm-hmm.
So what we were recommended to do by council is the first part of Article 19 where you get the layout plan. We're gonna follow that, and then we're gonna switch to chapter 82 of the Mass General Laws. And the bylaw committee will be receiving a different Article 19.
Okay.
Because it doesn't really jive with what the law says.
So the residents are happy, everybody's,
Yeah, yep. So I met with those folks a number of times, and
excellent,
delightful,
nice.
very nice people. We had a great time.
Article 5, to see if the town will appoint Bridget Weber as a trustee of Nelson Park. I take it everybody's in favor of that? No issues there?
I'm wondering why this is a town meeting thing.
It's required.
It's required. It's always been that way.
What is it?
The trust,
Trust
when the
document.
town accepted the terms of the Nelson Trust, they agreed that they would elect a trustee
Mm-hmm.
at the town meeting.
Oh,
And it's in the trust agreement.
okay.
Right.
Because I was just looking at the charter and bylaws and didn't find anything.
Well,
It's not in
it
there,
had been, the trustee position had been in the charter.
Okay.
And it was removed.
We took it out when we did the
Right.
charter amendment
Yeah.
because there was nothing to back it up, but it says it in the trust agreement, so that was sufficient
Okay.
to keep it a town meeting.
Because it said there was a procedure for appointing the trustees of the Nelson Park Memorial Library. I didn't know if the building fund was the part in here that was different.
The building fund is under the direction of the trustees.
And town meeting appoints the trustees, or elects the trustees, elects the trustees. That's funny, when I first got on the finance committee, I had the exact same questions that you had.
Okay.
I did. I had that question too. Skip told me to just stop talking about it.
I have volumes of information.
No, please, no, that's good. Any other questions on Article 5? Okay, we'll move on to Article 11 and 12 from the assessors.
Finally.
Go ahead, Evan, walk us through.
So these are standard articles that we bring back either annually or biannually, which is to allow us to give exemptions to National Guard, reservists, and active duty, and then other exemptions for blind persons, veterans, surviving spouses, seniors, and that's pretty much it. So this is just us keeping with the standard practice exemptions that we currently have in place.
Excellent. And then, Article 17, as we talked about, the BVT. Is this when he came in to see us? This is the budget that he presented to us and it hasn't changed from that?
Nope, has not deviated.
So the BVT budget is $1,551,295, and the debt service, which he said last year, is the last year of
This
that
is the
excluded
last year,
debt of $42,341. Are there any questions on Blackstone Valley's budget? Anything from the public?
Just when the recommendations are done, we need to let them know this is our last payment,
We should do that. We should do
because the
that.
new one will start in 25.
It will,
Yeah,
yes, he did say that.
Oh, that's,
It's anticipated.
Yeah, he said they're looking at new debt.
they look at a new debt, but they haven't brought it to town
They
meeting.
have not.
No,
yet.
not till
Town meeting would have to
25.
vote to authorize it, so, or at least a majority of the
town,
communities, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so what I would like to do with the finance committee's indulgence tonight is if you're prepared, based on the information that we've had tonight, I would like us to consider taking positions on the articles we covered tonight, unless you guys need more, ladies and gentlemen need more. Oh, I shouldn't say ladies, that causes problems.
Yeah,
I
so
saw
pretty
that. So
soon
I
gentlemen will
apologize,
too, so-
yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Members of the finance committee, if you're ready to, take positions, I'd like to do that tonight. Are you? You good? All right, so,
Just as long as you do it slowly.
I'm gonna do it very slowly. I don't want anybody to yell at me.
Numerical order, or are you gonna?
I'm gonna go in numerical order.
Numerical
Evan.
order, that means that consent agenda 1 and consent agenda 2 have already been passed.
No,
No.
Article
We
one,
put them all in there.
yeah, I know, but Article one, we're gonna cover tomorrow night with the Community Preservation Committee.
Right.
So I'm gonna start with Article 2, which is the $125,000 for the cable. Is the Finance Committee looking to take a position on that article?
I move we recommend
Second.
passage of this article.
All right, there has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those, we have to do roll call vote. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark, aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
All right. Article 3 is the $150,000 that Evan talked about to supplement the roof. We'll get that $123,000. Oh, I should go back. Who's gonna write, are you gonna write the standard ones, or do you want us to? We, last year you guys helped us by writing our recommendations on some of the articles.
Well,
Go ahead, Skip.
so Sue used to have all the standard stuff. Does Amber have the standard stuff passed down from Sue?
We-
Well, Will
Amber has
Williams
everything
been
that you
doing it.
ever-
Oh,
Yeah.
not
okay.
Sue, so.
We'll work on it together in conjunction with Amber.
Okay,
I just want to say that he's getting 3 cameras now.
Yeah,
Now that I'm leaving him,
we're all gonna look better.
we're all gonna look better, yeah. He's gonna have all your good sides.
All right, so unless,
We'll get a glamour
unless
shot of
somebody
you.
specifically,
And posterity.
unless somebody wants to
Right.
specifically write an article recommendation,
No.
we're gonna use the standard language that we've used in years past on the normal articles, on the recurring articles.
Right.
Are we all in agreement on that?
100%.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think it would
Go
be,
ahead.
it'd be useful to mention what this is being used for in this in this recommendation.
We will have the explanations.
Yep.
It just doesn't go in this version of the
Okay.
warrant. It goes in the town meeting version of the
It
warrant.
gets handed out.
Okay.
That's a good point, Greg. Thank you. Okay, Article 3 is that 150,000. Is there a motion to support?
so moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Thank you. Article 4 is to hear the reports. Is there a recommendation?
I recommend we support it as written.
Is there a second?
Yeah,
All right, is there any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
well, I wrote it.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Article 5 is the trustee to Nelson Park. Is there a recommendation?
Move to recommend passage.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Next year.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
I'd
Aye.
rather record my vote as abstain for that.
Oh,
being
Heather,
so
Amber, did you get that?
trustee.
Skip is abstaining from this article.
We got it.
Article 5. Article 6 is the 503,000 Chapter 90 money. Do we have a recommendation?
I recommend, recommend passage of this article.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Article 7 is the, article for the town bylaws to sell surplus items. Is there a recommendation?
Move we recommend passage is written.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I do have one question.
Please, go ahead.
Do you have any intention of doing anything?
Yeah, we do it pretty regularly.
Oh, no, but well, in the past, we had kind of a list of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think you're gonna be selling any that you know of?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You want to see the list? Will you do
No,
us a favor and
usually,
provide us with a?
we have in the past.
We
haven't
usually would present it with the list of what's going to
We
be.
use Municipid or Gov Deals, and we put them out to
Yeah.
auction.
Usually we just get an idea of, it's not always a complete list because some gets added in the year, so.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Evan.
Mhm.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Article 8 is the article to allow the treasurer to borrow money in the event.
Move
we
it support passage of
Second.
Article 8.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
And Heather?
Aye.
Thank you. Article 9 is the revolving fund bylaw. Is there a recommendation the finance committee would like to
Move
make?
we support the passage of Article 9 as written in our paperwork tonight.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Article 10 is the WRTA contract. Is there a recommendation?
Move we recommend passage.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
All right. Article 11 is the National Guard abatement. Is there a recommendation we'd like to make on that?
Move we support is written.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Sue. Heather?
Aye.
And Nick?
Aye.
Aye.
Article 12 are the exemptions for the certain blind persons, veterans, surviving
Move we
spouses.
support the passage of Article 12.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Aye.
Sue?
Sorry.
Heather?
Aye.
And Nick?
Aye.
All right, on the budget, I would like to do it this way. I would entertain a motion to support the general government budget in the amount of $13,417,266.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
I'd entertain a motion to support public safety in the amount of $4,463,449.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
And Nick?
Aye.
I'd entertain a motion to support the Grafton School Department budget of $43,427,796.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
I'd entertain a motion to support the Public Works budget in the amount of $3,595,856. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Sounds like Mark? Aye. Angelina. Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
I'd entertain a motion to support the Health and Human Services budget in the amount of $631,963.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
And Nick?
Aye.
I'd entertain a motion to, recommend or recommend approval of the Culture and Recreation budget in the amount of $1,475,005. Is there a
So
motion?
moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in, favor signify by saying aye. Dan?
Abstain.
Dan is abstaining. Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
And Nick?
Aye.
I'd entertain a motion to support the debt budget in the amount of $6,082,534.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
I'd entertain a motion to approve interfund transfers in the amount of $50,000.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
And Nick?
Aye.
All right, so what I'd ask you to do in the minutes, for the minutes, if you could just add up those line items, and then that's the amount of the budget that we approved for Article 13, because those are the ones that are included in that budget. Can you do that for us, Amber, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Or just.
Are you okay
subtract
if that way?
Mark,
Okay.
or just subtract Blackstone Valley.
Well, we could do that, but I just saying, no, you have to remove the debt capital and everything else. I just want to
Well,
make sure
that's
that the everything is fine, so.
Yep.
I could have just done 74 million minus 1.7 million, all right, so, but, all right, I'm moving on now because I'm just a little loopy. I would entertain a motion, who wants to write that budget, recommendation?
The same as last year.
You want to, just the same one as last year? All right, so, just
Different
something you want to say?
No, not to you.
Can we go back and take that general government vote again? Article 14, I would entertain a motion to support the capital budget in the amount of $1,789,418, of which $233,218 comes from free cash, $60,000 from the sewer enterprise account, and $1,496,200 from the cap stabilization fund.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? All those by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Okay. Article 15 is the sewer budget, and that is in the amount of, where's sewer?
Very last page.
$3,495,180.
Thank you. I couldn't get to the page fast enough. Thank you very much. I'd entertain a motion to support the sewer budget in that amount.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
All right, Article 16 is $565,228 for the cable budget for fiscal year 24. I'd entertain a motion to support that budget as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call? Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
All right. Article 17, I would entertain a motion to support the budget of the Blackstone Valley Vocational Regional School District in the amount of $1,551,295 and the final debt payment budget,
Which includes.
that's
number you
included,
read
I'm sorry, including the final, thank you, I'm sorry,
So moved.
thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
All right. Article 18, $150,000 to the sewer, from the sewer retained earnings account to major equipment account. Is there a motion to support?
Yep.
Second.
Any further discussion?
So moved.
All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
I'll have
Aye.
to assign Victoria to keep him in place.
I know, somebody has to. I don't know what we're gonna do. He's been really on a roll
I
tonight.
know, I told him to be.
Article-
more
I don't know if
Sorry.
I'm ready for this. It's a lot of responsibility.
It goes to the junior member of the finance
Oh,
committee.
all
But
right.
now we're gonna be replacing that, when Sue gets off, so very short period of time, yeah.
You'll have to handle him.
Article 19 is $100,000 for the sewer plant, for the plant grade up expansion from sewer retained earnings. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
All right, we're doing 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29,
Can we get all the way to 30?
tomorrow. Those are tomorrow. So Article 30 is the TIF agreement. We all heard the public comment on that. As I would entertain a motion to recommend Article 30 as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yep.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
And Nick.
Aye.
Article 31.
I'd like to wait until we have the actual text of the article.
Okay?
Yep.
We'll bring that back. Amber, will you remind me to do that tomorrow night, please? Article 32. Article 32 is, the $7 million for George Hill Road, understanding that $3.5 million of the debt will be paid through an override, debt exclusion override, and $3.5 million will be paid through the, capital stabilization fund, and we are applying for grants. Is there support for this article?
So you did say debt exclusion.
I said debt exclusion override, yeah.
Okay.
Just debt exclusion, no override.
Yeah, it's confusing. for
I've been
people.
around for 40 years. I've always called it a debt exclusion override, so I'm not gonna change tonight, so.
Okay.
Amber, put it in the minutes as debt exclusion. I call it a debt exclusion
Yeah.
override.
Well, it is an override.
It is an override, but
it
it's
is
okay.
exclu-
It's a debt exclusion.
exclusion, right.
Is there a motion to support?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
And, Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
My only caveat is that we leave it at the $7 million, but we explain how we're gonna finance it.
All right, so we should have somebody write this. Or is the summary gonna be clear on how we're gonna fund this and everything?
Yes.
So if we refer to the summary and the recommendation, Skip, is that all
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's just.
I think people, yeah, well, obviously town meeting's gonna need to know.
Oh, yeah,
Well, there'll be a
we're gonna have an
presentation.
explanation that we're also working on a one pager.
PowerPoint, okay. Sue, Skip, did you vote?
Yeah, aye,
Sue?
I suppose. Yeah, aye.
I suppose. You give me a hard time.
Come on.
Come on.
Heather?
I can
Aye.
do my last.
And, Nick?
Aye.
Article 33 is withdrawn. Article 34, I apologize. If you were stating to see our recommendation, I should have done this first. I'm sorry to keep you here all night.
Can we just say Article 33?
Oh, yeah, we
recommend
recommend pass over. Are you
Yep.
gonna,
We're gonna withdraw it entirely.
you're gonna
Board-
take it right
Oh,
off
you're
the
not
warrant?
Because remember, the board hasn't voted
On the
the
warrant?
warrant yet. So I'm gonna just take it off altogether.
They haven't voted on the warrant?
You gotta remember, we're doing this early because of school vacation week next week.
Ah,
So we're a week ahead of the select board. We actually are having these hearings before the select board, which is
well,
only because of,
that's
only
not
because of school
kosher.
vacation week.
Yeah, they better, if anything changes, it's gonna be held at the town meeting for that.
I know, but,
Well, you could come back, FinCom could come back if there's any changes.
Yeah.
We'll have to, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
we'll
can
have
Revisit
to.
whatever
we
issue
can-
happens,
yeah.
yeah.
So will it, is
Article
that going
33
to
is,
affect the subsequent numbering, or are we just gonna be listed as Article 33 withdrawn?
no, the numbers
No.
will change.
Remember that, Mark, the numbers will
The
change.
numbers will change.
Okay.
Which is not a big deal. So we're not gonna even
Would you
take,
prefer the numbers not to change?
well, how can you do that with Article, you're just gonna
No,
go
the
from
numbers-
32 to 34? Look how confused you were tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
First of all, I do that all the time. Second of all, we could leave 33 and just say withdrawn by petitioner.
Will that make you happy, Greg?
I just want to make sure that we're not we're voting, accepting Article 34 and then it changes on us.
Okay.
Just,
So
we
somebody
get
goes
our
back
I
to
agree
this,
with,
hey,
with Greg on that.
Okay,
So you
So
want to
leave
leave
it
it
on.
in there?
Yep.
Withdrawn by petitioner.
withdrawn by
Right.
petition.
You got it.
So do we support the withdrawal to pass over this article?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
Any
So
further
moved.
discussion?
Couldn't say that.
All those in favor by roll call, Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark, aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
See, we extended it some more.
I think it's good to do that
Yeah.
because a few years ago there was some issue with citizen petition being taken off and not being withdrawn.
Oh,
by the
that's
petitioner.
right.
So
Yes,
I think
that's right.
Being clear that it was the petitioner who has agreed
point.
to withdraw it. I think is
You have an excellent memory. Very good.
Well,
point.
he said withdrawn several times.
No, but I like how Dan put that.
I mean,
Drawn by
Oh,
petitioner.
yeah. Oh, we
Keeping-
did have trouble with that. You can't,
stating-
they can't take them off.
right.
No, they
right.
can't take any of them off.
The only way that an article could come off the warrant by citizens petition after being put on by citizens petition is the exact same 10 people that signed the petition
Right.
putting it on have to sign to take it off. I'm telling you right now, I went through this 2 years ago in Groton. That's what town council told me, and that's what we did.
Okay.
So I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's
from my
what happened
personal history.
when we had this come up before too, is that they said the original petitioners that signed to put it on have to sign to take it off.
That's what I've been always told by town council. Greg, what's your name?
Well, we may be
You.
back.
Hey,
Listen, I want to get to Article 34. This poor lady has been sitting here all night.
Yes. Should have started with that one. Really.
We should have started with that. I know. I think this is a great article, and I fully support this. And
You're gonna write it?
I will write the yes, I will write the thing supporting this article. So
I move that we recommend
Thank you.
passage of Article
Seconded.
all right.
34.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan.
Aye.
Greg.
Aye.
Mark. Aye. Angelina.
Aye.
Victoria.
Aye.
Skip.
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
Heather.
Aye.
And Nick.
Aye.
Article 35 we're going to do tomorrow night. And that's it. So, I would entertain a motion to continue the public hearing on the warrant to tomorrow night, Thursday, April 13, 2023. Thank you.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call? Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
I almost called her Evan. Skip?
What's his name? Aye.
Thank you. Heather?
He sounds like
Aye.
my father.
And Nick?
Aye.
All right. So now we have the state of the town message, and I have to say, Greg, you did an awesome job on that message. I think it's fantastic. I didn't see any edits. I know, Evan, you had a chance to review it. You're comfortable with all the numbers and everything?
I think it's an excellent document.
Yep,
Yep.
he did a great job.
Fantastic.
Very lucky to have Greg doing that for us, so thank you very much. And I will read it into the record of town meeting as we discussed last fall.
And I'd like to thank my proofreaders who helped me with that. So.
Proofreading is very, very important. There's one thing I do want to, I think we should, I know we make a special recognition here to Sue for her 25 years of service to the committee. Is there anything we want to do in addition to that recognition for Sue?
Well, you've got a voter retirement pay.
I'll take severance pay.
What percentage of what you've been making?
What I've been making, yeah.
I'll come up with something.
I still have my petition. You want me to just fill in the blanks and change it to your name?
Right.
I would entertain a motion to approve the state of the town message as drafted with outstanding thanks and gratitude to Greg.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
I'll abstain.
All right, Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Best written one yet.
Yeah, it's really well done.
Yes.
It's really well done. I'd entertain a motion to approve, the bill to the Grafton News in the amount of $95.46 for the public hearing notice.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
And Nick?
Aye.
I would entertain an omnibus motion to approve the minutes of March 8th, 11th, 15th, and 21st as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call, Dan?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark, aye. Angelina?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
We used to always sign, everybody would sign the bills. Is just now the chair that we decided, just the chair signs the bills?
Yes.
Is William gonna get the warrants around town again? Oh, I could say, you're sitting right there. Are you gonna get the warrants around the town again?
I sure am.
Good, okay.
Amber, could you get the warrants around town?
Poor Amber.
Amber, just send it.
Amber?
Just say no.
Amber, I know there was a problem the last time, but I want everybody on camera to witness, I'm handing this folder to Evan.
Oh, you should not.
Well,
Oh yeah,
well,
I don't
give it to-
recommend that.
Give it to William?
Okay, I'm doing this on camera. I'm handing it to William.
And he's putting it in the shredder.
All right, so tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, the continuation, in this room. Great meeting tonight.
That was great.
Thank you, everybody, and we're adjourned, and I'll see you all tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Night.
Good night.
Night.
Thank you.